household name in his own household.
Well,
is the history of ex-football players who have fought. It is not necessarily ones that have covered themselves with glory. You've had Charlie Powell, ex-San Francisco, and basically very few who have made it. Mark is one of the few who basically can, but it's a question.
all right, well, we'll get one more of the answers to that question. Now when we go up to Jimmy.
Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you as Momentum Enterprises and Al Goosen Promotions featured in this 6-round scheduled bout. Presenting the judges at ringside, we have introducing the referee in charge of this bout, Vic Draculich. All right, fans, here we go. Introducing to you first on my left, fighting out of the red, wearing black trunks with gold trim. Fighting out of Bennett, Iowa, he weighed in at a ready 206 pounds. His record, 7 wins, 5 losses, 6 wins by way of knockout. And his opponent across the ring. On my right, fighting out of the blue corner in this 6-round heavyweight bout, he is wearing solid black trunks and fighting out of New York City, New York. He weighed in at 256 pounds with a perfect record of 8 wins, no losses, all 8 wins by way of knockout. Welcome, the former New York Jet, All-Pro defensive end, the undefeated Mark Gastineau. Once again, here's your referee to give instructions.
All right, gentlemen, you received your instructions in the dressing room. Are there any questions? Any questions from Chief Seconds? All right, remember, obey my commands, protect yourselves at all times. Touch gloves, now let's get to it. Touch gloves.
So we are set to go. The former member of the Sac Exchange of the New York Jets, Mark Gastineau, getting probably what will be his widest exposure here tonight.
And yet, most of Gastineau's fights have ended somewhere between the pre-fight instructions than he's ever been on.
Well, we'll see how Lon Liebergen goes with him. Liebergen comes in here having won his last match against Lupe Guerra in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Gastineau reaches out his hand to say hello, and instead he gets nailed with a punch.
Liebergen wants to fight. He's giving away 50 pounds. He better want to fight.
Well, obviously Gastineau, who is so big, so tall, so huge for a professional heavyweight, will dwarf most guys he faces, lands a good right hand.
I've always had this feeling that most football players who fought, if they dropped their mouthpiece, would fall on the canvas and cover it.
Well, right now, Gastineau is getting in against Liebergen. Lon is staying at long range here, where, of course, he's going to have some problems. Wow. Thank goodness there's ropes, or we would have had about 370 pounds of beef right on us here. No thank you. We're in round 1. Maybe in the first minute we've seen already some strange stuff.
And yet Liebergen has landed longer than Derek Duke, who went out for, I think, what was it, 18 seconds in Salem, Virginia?
And Gastineau has landed a couple of decent shots to his head. Obviously, for most people, this is their first look at Gastineau.
Out of uniform.
Out of uniform, that's true, in boxing. He wound up with that right hand, obviously something he's not going to be able to do. He couldn't even land it against Liebergen, and obviously against better heavyweights, that's going to be a problem. Halfway through round 1.
Which is already a surprise.
That's scheduled for 6. We have a big night of boxing ahead of us. Obviously the main event, Greg Haugen and Ray Boom Boom Mancini will be exciting. Roy Jones will also be on our show taking on Art Serrano. And right now you're watching Mark Gastineau brawl a little bit with Lon Liebergen. A warning.
I think Gastineau is looking for the penalty flag.
Holding penalty if the right hand hurts him. So with a minute left to go in this round, Liebergen is rocked.
He's putting up an earnest effort.
Why do we get the feeling that Pedro Fernandez's scoring will not be necessary in this one?
I don't. That was all right.
He's hurt. He's out. This fight should probably be stopped. I don't know if it is. Excellent work by the referee.
They stopped the fight.
He was in a daze. Gastineau took a long, long time before he was going to go back and hit him, and appropriately they stopped him. Might not have been as pretty as people would like. And,
there's a sack dance.
Well, he's exuberant, Mark Gastineau.
Disgusting.
He gets another professional win.
He's 9-0.
And Lon Liebergen fails to go the first round. And as you take a look at Gastineau with his trainer Jimmy Glenn, who, by the way, of course, is, if you're a boxing fan, you know that Jimmy Glenn has worked with some very good boxers. Ali, a very good lightweight and junior welterweight contender. And for Lon Liebergen, the power of Gastineau simply too much for him. And Gastineau was actually charitable in not nailing him when he was caught against the ropes. And we'll go back and see where Mark Gastineau put an end to things here. He landed a right hand and a left hook. The left hook stunned him. That was before the one that really did the big damage. But you could tell the power was too much. That's the right hand that had Liebergen just dazed. Stumbling, Gastineau misses with the hook, but even with that, good job by Vic Draculas to step in and stop the bout, because he would have been hurt. Clearly, Gastineau is telegraphing a lot of his punches, but against this caliber of opponent, he could get those punches in. And so as you look at Mark Gastineau, who gained his 9th professional win, is the skill level getting better? Well, it's hard to tell because his opponent, of course, wasn't spectacular.
What now? At one given point, you're going to have to fight somebody, and this is a creditable step up over your previous opponents. What now? And I know you're waiting for Jimmy and everyone to give you direction.
I'm going to have to wait too, just like you, for direction.
Now you've had 3 more fights than Ed Too Tall Jones. How do you see your career differing from what Ed Too Tall Jones did?
Completely opposite.
How so?
You know, he received money, and then he started training. I've trained and not received any money for 2 years. This is the first fight that I've received money on, really.
And are you satisfied with your performance and want to come back on television again? Instead of doing this basically in some of the smaller areas, here you are in Reno in front of the cameras.
I'm from a small town, so smaller areas weren't that bad. But Reno's been treating me great. Clarion Hotel, everybody there has treated me excellent, so if it happens again, I'll be happy.
Congratulations to you, Mark Gastineau. Nice to see the sack dance back.
All right,
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Bert. Yeah, the sack dance was back. He hopes that the stuff prior to it will get even more artistic for him. Now let's send things over to the other member of our broadcasting team, Pedro Fernandez. Pedro?
Thank you, Al. A lot of questions about Mark Gastineau still unanswered. Can he fight? I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, tonight he lunged. He fell over his feet when he was throwing punches. A lot of times he was out of position. Straight up, to consider him a sub-novice might be a compliment. I'm really questioning the ability of Mark Gastineau. He was an outstanding football player, but as far as being an outstanding boxer is concerned, not yet through 9 fights. No question about that. 9-0, but 9-0 against nobodies. Let's go back to our guys at ringside, Al and Bert.
Well, thank you, Pedro. And as you see there,
Ladies
Jimmy
and
Lennon about to make the
gentlemen, we have
announcement. Let's go up to
time
him.
of 2 minutes, 38 seconds in round number 1. The referee in charge, Vic Draculich, stops the contest. The winner by way of TKO, maintaining his perfect record, undefeated, Mark Gastineau.
So, Mark Gastineau gets his win. He is 9-0 as a professional, and the beat goes on with him, and the discussion about Mark Gastineau will go on. This was the first chance really a lot of people have had to see him and to see really what he was all about. We look back again, Bert, at the power of Mark Gastineau as it showed itself against Lon Liebergen. In any case, that lead right hand hurting him, and it was telegraphed, but it landed.
Well, he got his shoulder behind it. If you will see, Mark Gastineau put every ounce of 256 into that punch.
Take a peek at the fight stat, which shows you that Liebergen, isn't that interesting? He threw more punches than Mark Gastineau, but of the 8 Gastineau landed, his were a lot harder, huh?
And you don't see many jabs in there. I don't know that they were calibrated, but Gastineau, I don't remember throwing a jab.
No, none that landed, that's for sure. Well, next up on our card, an intriguing matchup featuring Rafael Ruelas against Panchito Lopez. Rafael, of course, the brother of Gabe Ruelas. He is ranked number 8th in the WBC in the lightweight division, and he's a young man who really could have champion written all over, and that's what some people believe. Jimmy Lennon is in the center of the ring to kick things off. Let's go to Jimmy now.
Ladies and gentlemen, here we go. This bout coming your way is scheduled for 8 rounds of boxing. This time we feature lightweights in action. Presenting the judges at ringside, Doug Tucker, John McSweeney, Keith McDonald, and the referee in charge of this bout is Norm Budden. Introducing to you first on my left, he is fighting out of the red corner. He is wearing white trunks with blue trim and hailing from Huatabampo, Sonora, Mexico. He weighed in at 135 3/4 pounds. His record includes 15 wins, 3 losses, 11 wins by way of knockout. Please welcome